What if I told you Dexter Morgan isn't alive in Dexter Resurrection? That every kill, every conversation, every moment you've seen this season is just happening in his head as he takes his final breath? It sounds insane until you start looking at the clues. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Fans have been buzzing about plot holes, strange dreamlike sequences, and Dexter's too perfect survival after New Blood. But what if these aren't mistakes at all? What if the writers are showing us something far darker and far more heartbreaking? In New Blood, Dexter is shot by Harrison in what is clearly meant to be a fatal moment. No ambulance, no desperate rescue, just a quiet winter morning in Iron Lake. For many fans, that was the definitive end, but Resurrection flips that on its head. Suddenly, Dexter's alive, sharper than ever, and slipping back into his old patterns, conveniently. No one from his past seems able to prove he's alive. Angela's gone. Miami Metro is silent. Even Harrison's story feels disconnected. That's the first red flag. Think about the interactions Dexter's had this season. Characters appear exactly when he needs them. Clues fall into his lap without real struggle. The 6 new killers, almost tailor-made to match his deepest fears and regrets. That's not reality. That's how the subconscious works when you're piecing together your life in your final moments. Remember, Harry appears again, but his guidance feels more cryptic and surreal than ever. Instead of practical advice, Harry talks in riddles about acceptance and being ready. It's as if he's preparing Dexter, not for another hunt, but for the end. This is subtle, but important. Whenever Dexter is alone, the lighting takes on a warm, almost golden hue, the kind of color grading filmmakers use to signal memories or dream states. But when violence happens, everything snaps back to cold blues and grays, like reality trying to break through. If this is all happening in Dexter's head, what's the purpose of it? Some fans think it's his subconscious working through guilt, that each killer represents someone he failed or a part of himself he's trying to bury. It's his brain staging one last twisted theater production before the lights go out for good. Here's where it gets even darker. If the theory is true, then every time we see Dexter win, it's not a victory. It's a delusion. He's dying somewhere in that snowy forest in Iron Lake, and his mind is just giving him the closure he never got in life. It explains why none of his actions have lasting consequences, why enemies keep appearing out of nowhere, why Harrison exists in the story, but somehow feels out of reach. So, is Dexter actually alive? Or have we been watching a masterclass in unreliable narration? I'm leaning toward the second option, and if I'm right, it'll go down as one of the boldest twists in TV history. If you're still watching, drop Dark Passenger in the comments so I know you're one of the true believers. And let me know, do you want this theory to be true, or would it ruin Dexter forever?
Surprise, hermano. Angel.
What are you doing here?
Just passing through, I thought I'd try to catch you.
Good timing. You almost missed him.
Hey, buddy, it's late. Why don't you let me give you a ride back to wherever you're staying and we can catch up in the car? How's that sound, hermano?
Angel Batista has finally uncovered what so many before him only suspected. Dexter Morgan is the Bay Harbor Butcher. The shocking truth is out, but now comes the question no one can escape. What happens when the hunter finally corners the monster hiding in plain sight? Because this isn't just another case file. This is personal. Batista once called Dexter his friend, his colleague, his family.
I don't know what Jim Lindsay likes to eat, but my old pal Dexter Morgan loved himself a Cubano.
Little taste of home.
And yet, by the end of episode 7, their tense car ride ended with Dexter practically admitting it. If I really am who you think I am, this doesn't end well for you.
If I really am who you think I am, this can't possibly end well for you.
What Batista doesn't realize is that this secret game of cat and mouse has already begun, and he's just planted the most dangerous seed of all, a hidden tracker inside Dexter's car. So here's the chilling reality. Will Batista meet the same fate as James Dokes and Maria Laguerta? Or is he destined to be the first who finally brings Dexter to justice? History tells us one thing. Anyone who gets too close to Dexter Morgan's secret doesn't live to tell the story.
Yeah, I'm a little tense, Angel. But I'll try my best not to let the team down.
Dokes was relentless, following his gut until he uncovered undeniable proof. But just when victory seemed in reach, it became his death sentence. LaGuerta picked up that trail years later, determined to clear Dokes' name. She too connected the dots, cornered Dexter, and paid for it with her life.
Thanks.
Now Batista stands on the same knife's edge. The tracker he planted could give him the one thing Dokes and LaGuerta never had: hard evidence, GPS trails, time-stamp movements, maybe even video proof. But the closer he gets, the greater the danger becomes, because Dexter's mask has slipped before, and every time the result has been blood.
I'll never get used to killing in front of an audience.
He killed my brother.
Help!
Your secret is safe with me.
Help!
Picture this. Batista follows the signal, only to stumble across Dexter in his kill clothes, plastic sheeting covering the walls, another victim begging for their life. At that moment, there's no going back. No lies, no excuses, only two choices: let Dexter kill him or risk exposing him to the world. And here's where it gets darker. Harrison has already shown his willingness to kill when his family is threatened. If he discovers Batista's surveillance, what's to stop him from eliminating the threat himself? In his mind, it wouldn't be murder, it would be protecting his father, the only family he has left. This would be the most tragic twist of all, because Batista wouldn't die chasing a hunch. He would die because he was right. But what if Batista's tracker doesn't just lead him to Dexter? What if it drags him into something far bigger and far deadlier? Because lurking beneath Dexter's secret is Leon Prater's underground serial killer network, a web of wealthy backers, professional killers, and carefully staged disappearances. And Batista might be seconds away from stumbling into it.
Mitchell, the infamous Trinity Killer.
Think about how this changes everything. At first, the tracker might look like it's only exposing Dexter's late-night movements. But then the pattern grows stranger. Meetings at private estates, the names tied to missing people that stretch far beyond Dexter's usual cycle. Suddenly, Batista isn't following one killer, he's uncovering an empire of them. This would turn Batista's investigation into something unprecedented. Dokes and LaGuerta were chasing a single man. Batista, he could uncover the largest organized killing operation in history. And here's the terrifying part. If Prater and his enforcer Charlie realize Batista is watching, they won't hesitate. Unlike Dexter, who still feels the sting of friendship and loyalty, Charlie operates like a soldier, cold, efficient, lethal.
What the?
No luck, huh?
Charlie.
If she suspects a Miami Metro detective is sniffing around, Batista could disappear overnight, framed as corrupt, or silenced in what looks like an accident. One wrong move, and his investigation doesn't just fail, it kills him. But here's where the moral tension twists even deeper. What if Batista realizes Dexter isn't working with the network, but against it? That his old colleague is systematically eliminating Prater's monsters one by one. Suddenly, Batista isn't sure if capturing Dexter means protecting innocent lives, or destroying the only person actually dismantling a threat law enforcement could never touch. This would force Batista into an impossible crossroads. His duty as a cop is clear: expose Dexter. But what if doing so unleashes a network of killers far worse than him? Does he sacrifice his principles to protect the greater good, or stand firm even if it means chaos? And the dangers don't end there. Imagine if Charlie intercepts the tracker before Batista can act. She could manipulate the data, frame Batista as unstable, or even set him up as a target. Meanwhile, Prater has the wealth and influence to twist the narrative completely. Batista could become a scapegoat, branded a rogue cop who pushed too far, while the real monsters remain untouched. This theory doesn't just threaten Batista's life. It threatens to unravel the entire show's core dynamic, because for the first time, Dexter isn't the biggest monster in the story. He might be the only one standing in the way of something worse. And Batista, he might not live long enough to decide which side he's really on. On one hand, history suggests he's walking straight into Dexter's kill room. That tracker could seal his fate, making him the third Miami Metro detective to die for being right. On the other hand, Batista might be the one who finally breaks the cycle, exposing Dexter to the world, forcing him to live as the monster everyone knows but no one can legally cage. And if that isn't enough, there's the possibility that Batista's investigation unlocks an even darker secret, Prater's network, dragging him into a war with forces more dangerous than Dexter has ever faced. No matter which way it goes, one thing is certain. Batista has pushed Dexter Morgan into a corner, and a cornered Dexter is the most dangerous version of him we've ever seen. So what do you think? Does Batista die a hero, live to expose the Butcher, or find himself fighting monsters bigger than Dexter? Drop your theory in the comments. I want to hear which one you believe is most likely. And if you're still watching, prove you're part of the true Dexter fan base. Type "dark secret" in the comments so I know you're here until the end. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around, because Batista might have just changed Dexter's story forever.
Harrison, they arrested Ryan Foster's killer.
What?
And get this, it was a f***ing serial killer. Lady Vengeance. Pretty wild to think one of FBI's most wanted took out a hotel guest.
In Dexter Resurrection, one chilling theory has fans on edge: that Harrison's friend and love interest, Elsa, could be the ponytail killer's next victim. At first, it sounds far-fetched, but when you look at the clues the writers have been planting, a disturbing picture starts to form. Could the most stable person in Harrison's life be walking straight into the crosshairs of the season's most disturbing killer? Elsa Rivera might have seemed like just a side character when Dexter Resurrection began, a friendly face at the Empire Hotel where Harrison finds work.
Harrison!
Hey!
Just the guy I was looking for. I wanted to get you this as soon as I could. Open it. Is it about your GED?
I passed.
Oh my God, I knew you could do it. I told you to ace it.
My days of being a high school dropout are officially over. Thanks for pushing me to do this.
You're very pushable.
But the more we've seen of her, the clearer it's become that she's far from background noise. She's vibrant, determined, and has the kind of quiet resilience that stands out in a world full of killers and chaos. At just 28, she's a single mom raising her young son Dante while working late nights at the hotel. Yet somehow, she never looks overwhelmed. That strength makes her feel grounded and real, which is exactly why her death would hit the audience and Harrison so hard.
Is that the face you plan to wear out in public today?
What?
This is a tip killer. You gotta work on your customer service face. Okay. Eyes wide open. Big, closed mouth smile. Slight head tilt so they know you're really listening. You know, the opposite of whatever this is.
Elsa isn't just a romantic filler in Harrison's story. She's the first true emotional anchor he's had since the loss of his father and his first kill. She pulls out a calmer, more thoughtful side of him. Their moments together, the way he looks at her, the quiet vulnerability they share, hint at something normal, something worth holding on to.
He's my little monster.
That kid's as good as they get.
And in Dexter's world, normal almost always comes with an expiration date. The writers of Dexter rarely create characters like Elsa without a purpose. They introduce them to raise the emotional stakes, to remind us of what can be lost.
Getting better?
No, if anything, it's getting worse, so just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, got it.
All right, I'm out of here.
And with chaos swirling ever closer to Harrison, Elsa's importance makes her a prime target for danger. She's tied to the Empire Hotel, a location that's becoming more and more central to the story. And more importantly, she's tied to Harrison emotionally, making her the kind of character whose loss could devastate him. Enter Al Jolly, better known to fans as Rapunzel, the ponytail killer.
Oh, you scored a goal? Oh, that's great, sweetie. Okay, listen, I gotta go, so love to you and Mom, okay? All right, bye. Mamma mia.
Here we go again.
Oh, look at you.
Hi, honey.
This feels more like a class reunion than a dinner with killers.
Al, meet Red.
Hey, get in here, big guy.
On the surface, Al couldn't look less threatening. He's a heavy-set, middle-aged suburban dad with glasses, a tucked-in polo, and 4 kids. At serial killer dinner parties hosted by Leon Prater, he's cheerful, supportive, and even cracks jokes. But behind that warm smile is a man who has strangled at least 18 women to death, cutting off their ponytails as trophies. And these trophies aren't random. They're tied to a deep psychological trauma. All his victims wear their hair in ponytails, just like his abusive mother. Each kill is like erasing a piece of his past, a twisted ritual that makes his crimes even more disturbing. Al isn't some lone wolf hiding in the shadows. He's part of Prater's network of killers, literally being paid bonuses for every trophy he adds to the collection. He's already delivered 6 ponytails, and there's no sign he's slowing down. And here's where things get worrying for Elsa. She fits his victim profile perfectly, without even realizing it. Young, confident, and almost always wearing her hair tied back at the Empire Hotel. That small detail could be more than a costume choice. In Dexter, visual cues like this often foreshadow dark turns. Imagine Harrison watching Elsa from across the hotel lobby, completely unaware that someone like Al could be nearby, mentally adding her to his twisted checklist. This isn't bad luck. This is methodical hunting. And because Al hides behind the mask of a wholesome dad, Elsa would never suspect danger until it's too late. Now, if this theory holds, there are a few ways the writers could play it. The first is that Prater uses Elsa as leverage. We know Dexter has gone behind Prater's back before, and taking Harrison's girlfriend hostage could be the perfect way to force his hand. Prater wouldn't kill Harrison himself. He sees too much potential in him as the Bay Harbor Butcher's only biological son. But Elsa, she's the perfect pawn. The second possibility is more brutal. Al could kill Elsa purely by coincidence, not even knowing she's connected to Harrison. That random act of violence would send Harrison a devastating message that love and normalcy can't survive in this life. And this is where things could get dark. Elsa's death could push Harrison into the same emotional spiral his father went through after losing Rita and Deborah.
I love you, Deb.
A tragedy like this could harden him, make him embrace the very darkness he's been resisting. It could even set up a season 2 where Harrison and Dexter either join forces as killers or become bitter enemies. If Elsa is killed by Rapunzel, the impact wouldn't just be a shocking mid-season twist. It could reshape the series. Harrison has been written as someone determined to avoid his father's mistakes, to live with regret for the kills he's already committed. But grief changes people. And Dexter has always thrived on the question, can you escape the darkness in your blood, or will it always pull you back? This storyline would also give Al Jolly's character an even more horrifying weight. Instead of being just another villain of the season, his murder of Elsa would tie him directly into the emotional core of the series. It would make Harrison's eventual confrontation with him not just about justice, but about vengeance. And thematically, it would mirror one of Dexter's most haunting patterns, that anyone who gets close to the Morgan family eventually ends up in danger. Elsa's potential death would be another reminder that in this universe, happiness is a fleeting illusion. Personally, I think the clues are too deliberate to ignore. Elsa's hairstyle, her growing closeness to Harrison, the way the camera lingers on her during key moments, it feels like the writers are setting her up for something big. And in Dexter, something big rarely means good news. If this theory is right, we're not just looking at a tragic love story. We're looking at the moment Harrison's entire character arc takes a sharp, dark turn. If Elsa is indeed the ponytail killer's next victim, her fate could change everything we thought we knew about Dexter. Resurrection. But what do you think? Is she truly in Rapunzel's sights, or is this all misdirection? If you're still watching, drop Elsa in danger in the comments so I know you're here until the end. Charlie isn't just suspicious. All signs point to her knowing exactly who Dexter really is. And if that's true, then her next move could decide whether he lives or dies. Because when someone with Charlie's skills sees through your disguise, it's not a question of if she'll act, it's when. But how could she possibly have figured it out? The answer lies in her background, her skills, and a trail of clues Dexter probably didn't even realize he left behind. From the start, Charlie isn't portrayed as your average bodyguard. She's a former special ops agent, now head of security for billionaire Leon Prater, a man obsessed with serial killers and their memorabilia. But Charlie's role isn't just to protect Prater, she's his fixer, the person who quietly solves problems with precision, efficiency, and a level of skill that makes her more dangerous than anyone else in the room. Her introduction tells us everything. She's sent to track down Ronald "Red" Schmidt, a rideshare driver killer terrorizing New York City. Red's motive is personal. After losing his father to suicide when the taxi industry collapsed, he blames drivers for his family's pain and kills them one by one. It takes Charlie 3 full weeks to find him. That level of effort means she would have studied him inside and out, his profile, his habits, his entire background. She delivers Prater's invitation to join the gathering of killers. Dexter gets to Red and kills him. Then Dexter takes Red's place, hoping to trick both Charlie and Prater into thinking he's the man she spent weeks hunting. And here's where the problem starts for Dexter. Charlie's skill set makes it almost impossible to believe she'd mistake him for someone else. The first clue: when Charlie searches Red's home, the first place she looks for his trophies is inside the air conditioning unit. That's not the most obvious spot unless you've seen it before. It's exactly where Dexter used to hide his own trophies back in Miami. The precision of that choice hints she may already know about his methods. The second clue: her disdain for killers is consistent and intense. She calls Red a psycho without hesitation. She kills Keith, the can clubber, with minimal provocation. She refuses to even be in the same room when Prater opens his vault of serial killer memorabilia, making a quick exit the moment it's mentioned. This isn't just professional detachment, it's personal disgust. The third clue: Charlie has access to tracking tech and a network of connections through Prater's empire. All guests at his dinner were given phones, and phones can be tracked. That means she could easily see that Red suddenly stopped going home, suddenly stopped killing, and suddenly started visiting one location over and over again: Dexter's. The fourth clue: she may already know Dexter by name. Blessing, his landlord and new friend, often greets him through a Ring camera, calling him Dexter, loud enough for anyone nearby to hear. For someone in Charlie's position, overhearing that would be enough to connect the dots. And then there's the bigger picture. Prater has Trinity's hammer and knows his kill pattern. He has memorabilia from some of the most infamous killers alive. He's wealthy enough to dig into anyone's past. If even Trinity's own family could figure out Dexter's real identity after Rita's murder, then it's hard to imagine Charlie and Prater, with their resources, wouldn't. It's not just about recognizing Dexter's face. It's about recognizing his pattern. Red's killing spree ends the moment Dexter takes over his identity. Red's home in New York sits untouched. The man she supposedly spent 3 weeks tracking never returns. For a woman with Charlie's level of precision, those are red flags you can't miss. So the question becomes, if Charlie knows, why isn't she saying anything? Here's where it gets interesting. Charlie's disgust for killers might be genuine, but Dexter isn't just any killer. As the Bay Harbor butcher, he kills other killers. That might make him useful to her. If she's as calculated as she appears, she could see Dexter as a perfect tool to clean up threats without getting her hands dirty. But that doesn't make him safe. The moment Dexter becomes a liability, Charlie has everything she needs to take him out: training, resources, and the element of surprise. This creates a dangerous balance. Both of them know the other is capable. Both are pretending to play along. But every shared glance, every conversation, every silence is loaded with the unspoken question: who will make the first move? For Dexter, the danger isn't whether Charlie can kill him, it's whether she's already planning to. And that's why Charlie may be the most dangerous person in Dexter's life right now. If you were in Dexter's shoes, would you confront her or keep playing along? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Dexter Resurrection.